Reporting on the war in Ukraine is increasingly dangerous. This week, 2 journalists with Fox News were killed on assignment there. Cameraman Pierre Zakrevsky and consultant Alexandra Kuvshinova. A few days before that, journalist and filmmaker Brent Renaud was shot and killed near the war's front line. He has worked for NBC News in the past, though he was not working for us at the time in Ukraine. Journalists from around the world landed in Ukraine before Russian troops invaded weeks ago. Their work takes them close to the dangers of war, sometimes very close.
And there we go. I've just heard the first siren has just gone off. And I've been told by city officials that that indicates that this is a city under attack. That, again, is the first time we have heard sirens in the capital, Kyiv.
Things here are very, very jittery. So it's probably not a good idea for us to be live on camera with you.
So the micro mood is very tense because we live in a city that's under curfew where, I'm not kidding, we had like a patrol hiding behind that bush there.
We spent hours and hours in traffic crossing successive checkpoints with Ukrainian soldiers who were extremely jittery. You know, at one point, soldiers came up to the car with AK-47s drawn, demanded we get out. We could hear them cocking and recocking their AK-47s behind us. It was absolutely terrifying.
There's an ability. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I don't speak. I speak English. This train station, Nugatti station. Okay. Good luck.
As a mother, just to have all of this out of your control.
I have to be strong.
The frame of the window all came right on top of her, and she said it has left her determined, but also infuriated, furious with Vladimir Putin.
This is one of our friends we've been playing soccer with all morning.
It is joyful to see a child who is smiling and at least having a little fun. I'll let you go back and play a little more soccer. Ellison, thank you so much, seriously, for all you're doing there. We want to talk a lot more about this.
NBC's Cal Perry joins us again from Lviv near the border with Poland. Cal, I do want to talk about what's happening there on the ground, but first I should ask you about being a reporter covering the war in Ukraine. What's something that people who've never had to do this work might not expect or might not think of in terms of what it takes to cover a war like this?
Well, we talk a lot about the supply lines for soldiers. How about the supply lines for journalists? So I'm working in a hotel that has power, water, and food, but it also has dozens of people who are behind the camera, whom you don't see, who are responsible for organizing what is a Herculean effort to not just keep us on the air, but to keep us fed and to keep us having water and to keep the power running. And in case the power goes off, to have generators and to have fuel and to have security and safety. So when you see me every night, what you don't see are the dozens of people that are here off camera supporting the work that I'm doing, supporting the work that my colleague Richard Engel is doing. Erin McLaughlin standing on a balcony with bombs dropping around her. Matt Bradley going through a checkpoint where soldiers are very jittery. I'm in Lviv. I feel like I'm in a safe-ish place. There have been airstrikes, but again, we are incredibly grateful here for the power and the water and the food that we have every day, knowing that my colleagues are out there on these front lines being incredibly brave and in a situation as you well laid out, where reporters are dying in the field. So I think that was the thing that probably the viewers don't know, is just how much effort it takes on behalf of so many people at this network and at every network to keep us on the air.
How do you manage your safety out there? I know that in some wars there are people who will walk around with vests that say press on them so that combatants will at least know that these are reporters and hopefully follow some kind of international norms not to attack or kidnap reporters. But how do you stay safe in a place like that?
And that's a tricky one. Do you identify yourself as media? Do you wear a flak jacket that says press on it in a place where the media is being targeted? I think the attacks we've seen on the media so far have been nature of war, fog of war, whatever you want to call it. People are very very scared. If they're Ukrainian soldiers, they're very, very scared. The reality is these Russian soldiers are going to be terrified as well. They are clearly targeting civilians. They're targeting areas where civilians are traveling through. They are hitting these roads. And so journalists are naturally caught up in that. We take security as seriously as we can take it. What do I mean by that? We try to minimize the risk. You're never going to remove the risk in coming to a place like that. Like this. So you do the best you can to minimize it. In Lviv, we're able to minimize the risk in a way that Richard Engel, standing in Kyiv, is not able to minimize the risk. His risk assessment is always going to be higher because of where he is. That's just sort of what we try to do. We do also, behind the scenes, have security folks who try to look out for us, and that's an advantage, I have to say, that we have here on the ground.
I should ask you about the situation in Ukraine before I have to let you go. President Zelensky is calling for peace talks, saying it's Russia's only chance to reduce the damage from what he described as its own mistakes. What's the mood where you are? Does this seem like this is going to go on indefinitely, or is there any hope that there might be some way to either find peace, create a ceasefire, to do something about all this?
So, and Joshua, I think the mood probably this morning changed a little bit in the city I'm in, Lviv, because of those airstrikes this morning. 6 rockets fired in the direction of the airport. 4 actually landed. It was something that people were anticipating. You heard it in that report earlier. We kind of, in our minds, have a list of targets that we're aware of, and of course, we're not going to talk about. So it wasn't a shock, but it was certainly a widening of the war. This new Zelensky address in the last 2 hours, the headline has to be the one you're alluding to. He says it is time to talk. It is time to negotiate. He is walking an impossible line where he's trying to look out and protect Ukrainian sovereignty, to protect the cities, to keep Russia off sovereign Ukrainian land, and at the same time, he needs to find a way to stop the fighting, at least to pause it so that they can get into these areas and help the civilians who are trapped in basements. The one negative to that, and we've heard this from Ukrainian officials, they worry this is a stalling tactic from the Russians, that the Russians are engaging in peace talks so that they can reassess and they can regroup and then they can start attacking again. That's the concern that he has in negotiating directly with them, though he says it is time to do so, Joshua.
And very briefly, Cal, one last quick question. How long will you stay in Ukraine? How do correspondents covering a war like this know when it's time to rotate out and come back home?
So it's time to rotate out, in my humble opinion, when your brain kind of turns to jello and you cannot do these live shots in a meaningful and intelligent fashion. That's usually somewhere between 4 and 6 weeks. Pulling the curtain back, because you asked me to do so, I'm going to try to time it for my kids' Easter break. We'll see if that works out. But the bottom line is, and I think I probably speak for all the people who are in these videos, we don't want to leave these stories. I've been in Lviv now for a month. I am falling slowly in love with this city. I'm invested in it. So I will stay as long as I can. And then if it's still going on, we'll try to come back here, of course.
Meaningful and intelligent would be quite an understatement for the quality of the reporting you brought us thus far, Cal. Please do stay safe as best you can. That's NBC's Cal Perry reporting for us again in Lviv, Ukraine.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.